I'm going off on him, man.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. The melodious tones.
All right. And then we got that going right there. This meeting's being live streamed. I got it. And then over here on the live producer,
there it is.
Where it all happens.
I'm going to try and do this via a MacBook this week, dude.
Oh,
keep an eye on good old Facebook while we're doing it.
No, not sponsored, folks. Not sponsored at all.
I didn't say. Well, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have to say the first part of it because everybody knows. Oh well. Are we really? Come on, man. I would like for our stuff to become, monetized, but at this rate, it won't. There we are, my friend.
Yeah, well,
we are on.
You should see the interface. I mean, howdy, folks. You've caught us talking again. It's really crazy. The interface and everything they constantly are updating it, which I guess is a good thing. But then where the button was last week isn't where it is this week. So, folks, this is just me complaining. Welcome back. It's been three long weeks. We've missed you. Part of that was maybe a little vacation for one of us. Part of that was me getting COVID. And part of that's just life getting in the way. So shit happens, but we're back. And I say cheers to you all. We're going to kick it off with a shot.
Oh, wow. Oh, you did that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen Jaeger face now. All right.
Oh.
Folks, it's the Evan and Aaron show. I'm Aaron. This is Evan. We're friends and we like to hang out at a pub and drink. And when COVID began, we couldn't do that as much. So we invented this show. And now it's just kind of turned into us giving hot takes, talking bullshit, and drinking in front of you for your enjoyment, pleasure, mutual humiliation, whatever it takes.
Now, wait a minute. Wait. There's no, and I want to say this to the audience, this is exactly what you would see us doing at the pub. I mean, literally, this is exactly what you would see us doing.
Yeah, you're not getting some sort of candy-coated version of it or anything, or any particular agenda. If shit interests us, we talk about it. And I think we'll be the first to admit sometimes we talk about things we really don't know all that much. So we don't get all excited about that. But then other things we have given some thought to. I won't go so far as to use the term I researched it because I'm not writing dissertations and I'm not getting peer reviewed.
I might be.
So, well, yes, but probably not on this topic.
No, not on this topic. No.
So, we're going to jump right in. I'm actually going to.
Are you sharing your screen?
No.
Oh, man. I was like, you're going to work me out of a job, dude. What the heck? You're sending Ed McMahon home and it's all Johnny Carson now.
I see. No, I don't know what might have been showing up for you. I think I've changed one of the settings, but again, one of the tricks was supposedly to turn off your video and then share from secondary camera. And it's supposed to make you look better, but it did not for me. I think it may have to do with the quality of my particular webcam. So maybe it can't achieve, the 1080p it's shooting for. Anyway, I'm sure that's fascinating for you folks at home.
Oh man, like we are keeping people like that.
Look,
on pins and needles.
Just so you know, I'm always trying to improve things on the show. So until we get an intern, that's probably not going to happen. But what makes me sad is I've been trying to figure out how to get people's comments to pop up on screen. You know how it does, like and Facebook Live, but even watching Facebook Live, I don't think we get the comments. So, but I've got a little dashboard here, so we'll see.
Let me pull it up on my trusty.
Well, and thus far, no one has.
There you go.
No one has commented, so there's that.
Daver's watching. Daver, what's up? How you doing?
See, how do you get all this info that I don't, and I have the production studio going on?
Literally, I'm shutting down the thing that I said that I was going to use, and I'm just going back to my phone, dude. I'm just going back to the phone. It's trusted. So
okay, all right.
There you go.
Well, whatever it takes. So, we've had 3 weeks off. There's been, there's no shortage of craziness in the news cycle. What would you like to start off with, my friend? What is just a bee in your bonnet right now?
Okay, so I got to be honest with you. I have been out of the loop until you said something, my friend, and I did some searching, not research. I did some searching and some reading and some listening and all that stuff. What the hell is wrong with the Democrats? Why does nobody have a spine to get anything done? However, I will say this. I will say this. It seems like today they took a step, in the right direction. It looks like they're wanting to get a little tougher on the filibuster. Looks like they're wanting to move in that direction. That's one thing I was thinking of. But I think the thing that really grinds my gears is this January 6th subpoena marathon, dude. What did you think about? Hey, there we go. There we go. Dude, like when you did that, your arm looks huge. Like you look like you've been lifting, man.
I have
Holy
been
cow.
lifting. I have been lifting.
Well, there
Thank
you go. Hey, I noticed. What do you think about this, man? Like, do you really believe that everybody is going to show up?
Well, that was at the top of my agenda too. They've publicly said at the request of Donald Trump, the big four, Meadows, Bannon, Patel, and another person I don't really care much about, are going to defy, the subpoenas. They're not going to turn over any evidence. They didn't say what parts of it. So, this is going to be an interesting test. Multiple times over the last 5-6 years, we heard things like, okay, this is, if this doesn't happen, this is the end of democracy and the rule of law and stuff like that. And you know what? Some of it has eroded it. But if they're allowed to invoke some aspect of executive privilege here in order to not comply with the subpoenas, that's an interesting precedent. And I don't think you have to be too much of an evil mastermind to see how quickly that could get off the rails. So I think that's problematic. I think Trump's own lawyer doesn't think it's going to work so much as it's a stalling tactic. Because what the Democrats want is to have some sort of movement, if not resolution, on this whole thing well before the midterms next fall.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Now,
it makes total sense.
If, Trump's best assets are his lawyers. And if they can successfully slow walk this to past, the midterms next year, then they can control the House and the Senate again and just basically end these investigations. So which is, of course, what innocent people do. When you have absolutely nothing to hide, and what you've repeated over and over about your relationship to the insurrectionists on January 6th, who are fine people who did nothing wrong and they were merely tourists. The proof is in the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and they don't want to eat it. They know that they did wrong. They know they did legal wrong and could go to jail for treason.
But let me throw this out
for
there.
which you hang.
Right. But let me throw this out there. Like, let's go back to the very beginning. Like, let's go back to the opening phrase that they say they are going to defy the subpoenas.
Mm-hmm.
How does one who is a private citizen defy a subpoena?
Because it's at the request of Donald Trump. And he is saying executive privilege protects the conversations, documents, emails, telephone calls that he had, because it's not valuable to the public.
Why didn't it protect Richard Nixon?
Well, if you've noticed, whoever the judge was denied executive privilege already for some aspects of January 6th, which is why Trump's lawyer doesn't think this is going to work, but he filed a motion. Now it's however long it takes for that to be discussed. They can file a shit ton of, let's delay, let's postpone. Yeah. We have more evidence in support of our desire to not comply with this subpoena and executive privilege. And our interns are very, very busy getting that information together. But but Your Honor, it's very time consuming. So if we could push this to maybe March of 2023, that'd be great for my clients.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Trump
That's
he
lawyering.
he has the best lawyers of all time. How this guy is not sitting in jail, that's the only explanation. He has the best lawyer team ever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And they are using the law to basically cover this man.
This is what wealthy people do. This is the same as lobbying.
Exactly. This is why there's a 1%.
Yes.
This is why that there's a 1% is because they use the law to get them to a place to where they're not held accountable. Or if they are held accountable, they have the only way they're held accountable is because of the asset that they have the most of, and that's money. And so they're able to pay the fines, they're able to pay this and pay that and be fine. And that's why they call them the 1%. And this is why that we have for the past year and a half, man. This is why I feel it took me a while. It took me a while to get there, but I had a moment of clarity, and I said to myself, I said, you know what? I'm not going to get frustrated anymore. I'm not. I'm just not, Aaron. I promise I'm not, because
this just came such a better place, or such a better way to do video. Oh my God. Sorry.
Oh, so if you're talking, you yeah. Oh wow, you switched it on us. Now
that happened to you. That happened to you too?
It's on the live. Like on the live, it's whoever's talking gets the window.
Oh, so this is happening on Facebook Live too. See, I've got, does it have both of us up top though?
Well, on YouTube it does, but when I look at Facebook, it just snaps back to who's talking. So it's almost like I'm in class. It's
on YouTube.
It's like, yeah, sorry, not YouTube, but on Facebook. On Facebook, it snaps back and forth between you and I.
But there's not two people on. You mean Zoom?
Well, yeah. YouTubers are probably going to see both of us.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I did it like this because I realized
Guys,
that I have a tendency to look around the screen, and I'm like, I don't want to appear to not be paying attention. So now I've put us right below the camera, so I'm always doing that. And if I barely look down, that's the big screen. So my apologies.
No, it's all right. It's all right, man. But no, I said, listen, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be frustrated anymore, because this is the nature of the beast. Whitney is a longtime friend of mine. I'm so glad that she's watching. She said, I'm laughing my ass off at the moment.
See, this is the
two
thing.
Old guys in the Muppet Show. I swear to God, that's what we're like right now.
Well, we're not angry about everything, but I mean, I realize everybody's watching me learn Zoom and Facebook Live right now. So if you're a visual learner, this is probably impressive for you. But it's
this
just
is like the progressive commercials, man.
I'll go back to this. I don't know, man. What's frustrating is that, oh, thank God that didn't do that. What's frustrating is, you started this off with, what the hell's up with Democrats and don't they have a spine? We just spent the last 4 years watching Republicans have no spine. And the only people who had the gall to stand up to Donald Trump were people who were, they'd lost. What's the term for?
Oh, okay, they were primary.
They were primaried, or they weren't running for re-election, or what have you.
I know what you're saying. Let me clarify. I didn't mean like they don't have a spine to not do anything, like to pass anything through. I'm saying that they don't have a spine to play hardball like Republicans do. It is time to start doing that, man. I have been on the bandwagon to say, nope, if they go low, we go high. I've been at that. That's not working. It's not working.
Here's what I'll say to that is Nancy Pelosi is a motherfucking assassin. And Chuck Schumer ain't too bad himself. And I think we rely on, I think a lot of Democrats rely on them to do the dirty work, to do the heavy lifting. The difference I was talking about is how so many Republicans just fell into lockstep, and they were so afraid to step outside of that for whatever reason, for whatever dirt or damage Donald Trump could do. We specifically have Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Yeah. Now, we're disappointed in them. And I think rightly so, because they're not taking a moral stand for their people. They are basically succumbing to their donors. But are you saying you want a Democratic Party where we immediately turn on people like this?
I don't think this would be an immediate turn, man. I think.
Well, okay. I guess what I'm saying is, what would you like to see happen aside from them getting primaried? I mean, I don't want to be the party. I don't want to belong to a party, and I barely belong to the Democratic Party, but I don't want to belong to a party that the second somebody does something against, the larger ideology, that they're ostracized.
Yeah, no.
Liz Cheney and Jeff Flake. I don't want to be that kind of people. I think this is what we're talking about here is nasty people get their way because they're nasty people. Do we want to be nasty people?
In order to get stuff done, in order to pass things while we still have the majority? I mean, and this is the thing. This is why I'm not sitting there. It's so easy for me to sit here and be like, blah, 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 blah. I think what I'm saying is this, is that we've seen the progression of American politics. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, we are long past the Joe Biden type Senate, where people sit down, they talk it out, they, come to some type of, we're past it. We're past it. That was PTE, pre-Trump era.
Yeah.
This is now post-Trump era. This is, after Trump, AT. After Trump, I do not see our politics returning back to a way that they were before. We're going to have to learn to play a new game. And we might not, and I'm not, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope we don't have to play that. I hope we don't have to go into the gutter to play the political game that's required in America. But what I'm saying is that the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing, expecting a different result. And as much as I respect Nancy Pelosi, as much as I respect Chuck Schumer, I think those two have been awesome. I think they can still get it done. What I'm saying is that when you have when you got both sides of your party, the Kristen Sinemas, the Joe Manchins, when you got the AOG or the AOCs, and you got, the Ilhans and stuff like that, and you're trying to do this, at some point, you're going to have to pull the belt. You got to be like, look, I'm mama. You're going to have to sit and listen.
And I think that's why Pelosi has managed to maintain the position she's in when she was attacked from the left. And I think she ultimately was like, look, I get what you're saying, but there's no one better at this than me. And that's why I'm here. And until AOC and Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley and the rest of the squad learn that shit, they're going to be seen as juvenile. And I love AOC. I think she's effing brilliant, but she's playing checkers. She's not playing chess. She's just, you're right. She's real good at checkers. She does like an 8-man jump on you and kicks your ass every once in a while. Right. But being good at Twitter is not the equivalent of being Speaker of the House and knowing how to manipulate things. And I think she knows how to play a long game in a way that AOC and those other ladies need to learn. And we need some new blood. We've got to get some new blood in there.
Yeah.
And
now, I think that the squad, I think that they will fall in line in a more, I don't know what the right word would be, like wholesome, in a more, a holistic way than the Republicans fell in line the last 4 years. I think that can happen. I think that will happen because, like I said, I've got all the respect in the world for those ladies. I just, like I said, I think for me, I'm just like waiting for the switch. Something's got to change. Something's got to switch. Like someone is going to have to be just the one that takes all of the hits from the Republicans. Like, oh my God, can you believe so-and-so did that in order to push this through? Someone's just going to have to do it. Someone's got to fall on the sword.
You look at the newer generation of Republicans that are coming through, the Madison Cawthorns, the Matt Gaetz, the Jim Jordans,
Oh my God.
the Boberts, the Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. And this is obviously not a battle of wits. But
you got that damn right. Yeah.
Just because I'm better at you at soccer doesn't mean I can beat you at chess. You've got to show up for the game that's getting played. Yes. And right now, we've allowed the game to get changed. And, AOC picks and chooses and gets some good shots in. Mm-hmm. But Pelosi and Schumer are playing an old game. And we've got to get her to teach some of the old school tactics that do still work to the squad.
Yep.
She needs to learn from the squad, but we need to bring in some 25 to 35-year-olds that don't want to be horrible human beings, but recognize that the game they're playing requires your uniform to get dirty.
How about a couple of mid-40, late 40s? How about, I'm just saying, we can throw our hats in there, man. Let's get it done.
The problem with that is the older you are, the easier it is to slander you. You've got a history. You've got a history.
Oh my God.
And now on the one side, if all the bullshit that got brought up about Donald Trump wasn't enough to derail somebody, then the minor shit that we've gotten up to shouldn't be an issue. But until you and I have $10 million worth of donors behind us, we can't compete with the ads that get run. It's not about whether or not we did something. It's the perception that gets created by people who have power.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a beloved professor. People who were in your, is ministry the correct word?
Yeah.
People who went to your church think of you very highly. You're a Christian Democrat, or at least a Christian influenced Democrat.
Spiritual Democrat.
Well,
yeah, no, go ahead.
You haven't eschewed the teachings. You've just taken a more evolved position with it. But
there you go.
You don't have a history of womanizing and being out, public assault, shit like that. But all it takes is somebody who can run a couple $1 million worth of ads to go, was Evan Casey seen leaving the Chatham Tap and getting into his car? What do you think of that?
Yeah.
And then you spend your time battling shit like that rather than, by the way, I think our roads need to be wider. By the way, I think our schools need to be better. You're answering a stupid ass question that somebody created out of whole cloth. It's the Fox News thing. People are saying.
Sure. Right.
And then later in the day, I heard, you heard from this morning show that started with people are saying. You're your own feedback chamber.
Yeah. Speaking of, we can dive into this a little bit, I guess, since we're broadcasting on it. Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Facebook has really come under a lot of scrutiny in the past. I would say the past couple of years, and it really has come to head with the whistleblower that's come and said, you know what, look, these guys are more interested in money than in morality, and that was possibly the Captain Obvious statement of 2021 so far. God bless her for coming out and saying, hey, this is happening, because it confirmed all that. But my question for you, Aaron, is this, is that, do you think Zuckerberg and those guys, do you think they're all about money, or is there a little bit of morality sneaking into their thoughts now because of all this?
No, I when you have internal memos that say our logarithm, our application in general is causing issues for teenage girls. And you're like, well, how do we monetize that shit?
Yeah.
no, you have, but I am biased. I think a lot of people who get to the point of running a large corporation like that have lost touch with humanity and the common person in such a way that it makes certain decisions easier. I think it's the equivalent of fighting with drones. I don't have to see the person I'm killing. It makes it a whole lot easier to just randomly drop a bomb.
Sure.
And I think Mark Zuckerberg has never understood the common person other than their motivations, because clearly Facebook is all about people's motivations. But they've hired they've hired psychologists to study the algorithm and figure out how to maximize, how do I get this person to stay here? And that type of thinking is immoral, period. I don't think Mark Zuckerberg is a bad person, but he's made bad person decisions, and he's allowed bad person decisions to occur on his watch. He's not actively creating a Holocaust. He's not trying to eliminate the Jews of the world. He's just indifferent to the suffering caused by something that makes him money. Yeah. And that's a gray area. Nietzsche didn't have a chapter on social media. We're sorting this one out for ourselves. What is the appropriate placement for this?
Have you read Brave New World? That book,
oh yeah.
1930. It came out in 1931, and that book
couldn't be more relevant.
Right? 1984. Orwell.
Yep.
I mean, it's like
the funny thing about 1984 is we've embraced it. 1984 was government dystopia imposed on people. We've embraced it. We started filming ourselves in the early 90s. We post online, and it's not the posting online. It's the thinking that you're posting online isn't the equivalent of walking to the city square and shouting whatever you're going to say.
Right.
And you know what?
Right.
Most of the time, think about it, a significant portion of it is, hey, this sandwich is fucking good.
Yeah. Hey, look at my flowers. They're blooming. It's like, yeah, that's great.
The problem though is, the like button is cool. I like this, but the like button also propagates this information. So if you're online and you want to find out about a really good sandwich, then that's cool. The problem is Russia and China aren't hiring computer engineers straight out of college.
Yeah.
And
Iran as well.
I don't know that.
I understand. And telling them, hiring them and telling them that their job is to create 100 bots a day that amplify my fucking good chicken sandwich. They're being paid to create 100 bots a day or 1,000 bots a day that propagate things that harm.
Right.
The reason why people believe in the misinformation of COVID and conspiracy theories and shit like that is because more and more people pop up and they're like, oh, what do you think of this? And you read it and it's intriguing. I remember, Behold a Pale Horse and the Sunday night radio show that talked about conspiracy theories. And it's cool to entertain a little bit of it, but most of the time I just walked away and was like, well, that makes a good story, but it doesn't take me long to ask 3 questions to punch a hole in it.
Exactly. The more I thought about this whole thing, it just got me to thinking, like I said, those 2 books, but it also got me thinking about Fahrenheit 451 and like how the disinformation and the elimination of truth.
Yeah.
The devaluation of truth that happened in those novels, either through violence or through so much stimulation or through the actual destruction of information. All of those things are happening, man, and they're it blows my mind to sit here and to think about how insidious this all is and how we're now just realizing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, we all became very, very numb to it. And And I guess that's why, I mentioned that because, the whole point of dystopian novels and stuff like that is to get you to start asking the question why, or how long should we let this go? It's like, okay, technology's awesome, but how far should we go with it? Because if we let it go too far, it's going to end up screwing up our brains, and we're not going to be free thinkers anymore.
Well,
Anyway,
another piece of art to add to Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451 and in 1984 is Idiocracy. I hate to say it, but it's a movie that didn't actually do well at the box office, but in the last couple of years, it's I think Matt Groening did it. I think the creator of the Simpsons did it.
Okay.
And it stars not Owen Wilson, his brother.
And
not the one who goes, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the dude that was on the Family Stone.
He was in Old School.
Oh, what was his name? Something Wilson.
Anybody weigh in? This is where we need help from the audience.
Yeah,
anyway, the other Wilson brother. The premise is that he is a terrible, terrible Army soldier. And in order to not get thrown out, I think he volunteers for a program where they're like, they put him in suspended animation or cryo freeze him or something like that. And he wakes up several hundred years in the future. And in the intervening time, disinformation, misinformation have basically dumbed down society. People who are intelligent decided to have fewer children. Like branding is everywhere. And it's a very on point movie now. I think it was a little too ahead of its time. And it's funny because of how accurate it is now.
Luke Wilson. That's it.
Thank you. You, whoever.
Daver.
Wait in. Thank you, Daver. Mike Judge. Yes, Mike Judge. So I knew it was somebody who was more in, satirical and sitcom kind of stuff. So thank you for that as well. But I would add it to it. So, is that time? It's that time.
It's that time, my friend. It is that time. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is halftime, and we will do a halftime shot.
Yes.
And usually Aaron and I have someone we'd like to salute tonight. I need to salute my absolute favorite 16-year-old. And that is my daughter, Danae. Today is her birthday. Danae, this is to you. Hope you are not watching this show where Daddy and Uncle Aaron curse and drink all the time. But whenever you're old enough to, hey, great. But this is to you, 16, dude. I'm like, what?
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome. But it's like, look at this gray. Oh well, that's all right. I'll wear it well. Anyway, what do you got for us, man?
As a grown man with no children, I will not be saying who my favorite 16-year-old is. That's just some shit that's going to get you into trouble.
Wow. Talk about, going back and, digging up stuff about you in case you run for office or something. I'm curious, what you got, man?
It reminds me of a Dimitri Martin joke. He said, you can say, as a man, you can say you like things. You just can't say you like specific things. You can be like, I like children, but you can't be like, I like 12-year-olds. Specificity is what gets you.
That is so good. That's so good, man.
So I tell you, the lesser known Andrew Wilson. Yes, that's true. That's true. I will say this. I, unfortunately, because of COVID, had to miss out on a very, very important event that occurred in the last month, a couple weeks ago. So I want to say a big shout out to Jojo and Jen and their crew for putting it on. It was great work. Daver was a part of that. So shout out to you, Daver. But a shout out to the people that it's for. Shout out to Holly. She's a fucking soldier. And Ryan, her husband, just great folks. It was a great cause. Raised a shit ton of money for it. People had a lot of fun and had some good cries. And that's why we're here. So that's, to me, this show is an extension of that kind of thinking, just kind of trying to spread that Chatham Tap love that north side love, let everybody know, hey, we got your back no matter what kind of bullshit's going on. Cancer's a bitch. Cancer sucks. Fuck cancer. So that's my shout out. And also to your daughter.
Thank you, my friend. Slanky.
All right. We can do some quick hitters.
Man, it's been 3 weeks, dude. Woo! That was hard.
You don't have to do 3 weeks worth of alcohol.
No.
I mean, what the fuck? Let's, but still. So I want to run through a couple things. We touched on subpoenas and Facebook, which I thought was important. Also, what do you think was it just a coincidence that Facebook and all of its properties were down for about 6 hours yesterday or the day before? Is that just oops, just happens to be a coincidence that the whistleblower?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I think Anonymous is going to start taking credit for this one. We had this was a DNS attack. Could not resolve DNS? That's your servers got taken down. So
exactly.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure. Yep.
Should we raise the debt ceiling? And is this just pure fuckery from the Republicans for saying it's the Democrats' problem to deal with a debt that was largely incurred by the last guy? Just quick thoughts on that one.
Yes, and hell yes.
Yes.
I mean, dude, this is the epitome. Like, if you looked up hypocrisy in the dictionary, it would be Turtle Man himself standing there telling us that it's the Democrats' fault, and that they can get it done by using blah, 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 blah. They can, do reconciliation. It's like, dude, this is on you guys. It's on you guys. I think I heard it best on one of the shows I watched in the morning where Eddie Glaw Jr. From Princeton University, I think he's one of the professors there. He said, you know what, here's what should happen. All the Democrats should go, they should all vote for it. All vote yes. Let that vote happen. Let all the Republicans vote no. And that would be the ad that I run for the rest of the up until primaries, up until
I would do that so they are all on record.
Yep.
And then I would immediately probably not altogether, but get rid of the filibuster for fiscal issues.
Yes.
And then pass a $3.5 trillion package of things. Here's what I don't get. You would think that, hey, let's rebuild these roads that are shitty. Let's fix this bridge that has a rating that says if 2-ton trucks are on it, it could fall.
Yeah.
Let's build new hospitals. Let's improve our infrastructure. I get that certain places are going to want their pork, but in $3.5 trillion, I think you can probably get some shit for your people. So what's the holdup on this one?
Well, and if you look back, if you look at the Bush tax cuts and you look at the Trump tax cuts, which absolutely did jack shit for like regular Americans. If you look at
the economy
and you combine both of those tax cuts, it literally is, I think it's like maybe $10 billion difference. Mm-hmm. It comes out to
quite a bit.
3.4 something trillion, where Biden's is asking for 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know what? This 3.5 is a large enough hit that it actually is going to make a dent. Yeah. It's like it's like the movie Armageddon. It's like, okay, let's shoot 100,000 nukes at this thing, and it's like it's just going to brush it off. It's like, no, you got to put that shit inside of the asteroid, man. And this is that inside of the asteroid type package deal that can really have an effect on things, man.
Yeah, I agree, and it's to me it's as silly as their opposition to raising taxes 2 percentage points on the wealthiest 0.01% of people. It's like those people have successfully lobbied and created legislation that protects the vast majority of their money anyway. They're even saying in so many words that I can lose this amount of money and it wouldn't be a problem. So
how much did Zuckerberg lose a couple of days ago? Was it like 17 billion or something like that.
And it doesn't matter. He's still the second or third richest guy on the planet. And by the way, what kind of fucking dick measuring contest do you need to have? I'm sorry. I'm the fifth wealthiest person on the planet. And look, I get it. I get that competition and ego is what drives a lot of these people. But the 2% tax isn't going to change that. And if you claim to be this humanitarian person, we're going into space for mankind. Oh, yeah? Well, give up 2% more of your fucking wealth that you won't miss. You're not going to miss $40 million a year. You're just not going to. But $40 million can go a long way for schools, for roads, for this precious fucking military that you all love. Also, that's what gets me. Why is it that budget's never scrutinized? We have the largest.
6%.
We have a larger military than the next 25 countries combined, 24 of whom are our allies.
Yep.
And we can't possibly do without this jet fighter that we've been researching and building for over a decade that's never gonna fucking fly. Was that the F-35? I mean, sometimes the solution is so obvious and on its face, I'm ashamed of humanity. Just absolutely ashamed of humanity. I said that was going to be quick, so unless you've got something else to add.
Defense, just defense spending accounts for 10.6% of all federal spending and nearly half of discretionary spending. That's important. It's important to remember because that discretionary spending is at Congress's discretion.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly what it means. And so 10%, okay, yeah, we'll do 10%, even though there's so many other things we need to spend on. But it's that discretionary spending that really makes, I think it really hammers home.
That was my defense. Defense. So our last episode, we touched on the Texas fuckery with abortion law. And I
love your words tonight, man. They're just so
to his credit, a Texas doctor said, "Hey, I performed an abortion, and I think it was a perfect case to fuck with you." He didn't say that, but let's see how this goes. So somebody brought a lawsuit, and this is awesome. So, and it's not awesome because it's tragic. Someone had to do this, but he performed an abortion on somebody who was, I believe, 9 weeks pregnant. So 3 weeks after the supposed window, which, by the way, 6 weeks is not enough time for development. In case you didn't do well in biology in high school, it's not.
Right.
And this isn't me being biased. This isn't us trying to just go to your high school biology book and look up gestation periods. Trust me, there's a fucking chapter on it. Mm-hmm. But this woman found out her child had anencephaly. Let me break that down for those who don't know their Greek and Latin derivatives. Babies born with no brain. No brain. No brain. This child is not going to have a life of any kind. It won't be aware of its own life. It will be a sedentary being that has to be completely force-fed in order to survive. Yep. A horror show for a parent who was clearly hoping to carry child to term. They didn't come in as an abortion for goddamn contraception. Wasn't using abort. They're not. I fucked up.
Yeah.
This is a being that is not going to survive, and to force this person to carry to term is going to cause trauma. And the response from one of the Texas politicians was, "Well, miracles happen."
What what chapter and verse is he, trying to quote that says that, spontaneously a brain can be,
He referenced Mary was a virgin, section 2, 3, 4, and 5. The one and only time in world history in which someone spontaneously conceived. He didn't, but this is my, take on things, because I'm not sure how else you go about that.
Okay. Because I'm having issues right now concentrating, because I think somebody's fire alarm is going off. So if you hear that, I apologize.
I don't, but
Okay,
I hope your condo is not burning down.
Nope, I hope not either, because either way, I'm staying here. Okay, we're doing
This is how committed we are, folks.
Yeah, for just hearing that story, it's interesting, because today in class I had the students kind of talk about religion, because we were talking about the LGBTQ community in reference to a class I teach about social justice, and it was interesting. We spent a lot of time talking about religion and the clash between the church and LGBTQ, and we basically came down to this. Now, these are 18, 19-year-olds coming to this conclusion. They're human beings. And you know what? The fact is that they want the same thing we want, and we live in a country that's free. And so my religion is my religion. And far be it for me to force it on them. That, once again, our young people, I'm telling you, that each generation that goes by, I look and I see us getting closer and closer to actually becoming the nation that we want to be.
It's impressive.
It's very impressive. The same thing applies to this. I'm like, okay, we've heard the phrase, hey, look, just because I support abortion, I support a woman's right to choose, doesn't mean that I support abortion. That's fine. I mean, in that, in some way, nobody wants death. Nobody does. No. But the fact is that we are robbing people of their constitutional right for life, liberty, and their pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can take heart cells and I can reproduce heart cells to beat in a fucking petri dish. I can do that. And the fact is that we are subjugating half of our population based on religion. And in this country, that's not right. I think it's way beyond the whole topic of abortion. We shouldn't be talking about abortion. We literally need to be talking about, who are we as a country? Are we really a country who formed out of coming away from religious subjugation to impose religious subjugation on ourselves? That's the rub, Aaron. This isn't. It could be playing tiddlywinks, and if it's in the Bible that, hey, no, you can't do that, then I'm just saying. I'm like,
well,
yeah. Anyway,
we've come full circle from the conversation earlier. I believe it was 1984 that introduced the term newspeak, and it was it's basically another way of it's ironic speech. It's meaning the opposite of what you're saying. And think of how often that's the case. The People's Democratic Republic of North Korea is anything but the People's Republic.
Oh my God.
The National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany was not really a socialist or workers' party. The people who most loudly proclaim their patriotism these days seem to know the least about American history and what the Constitution itself means. When people say this is unconstitutional, they almost it's almost comically bad that they've overlooked a very specific spot in the Constitution that addresses exactly what they're saying that isn't constitutional. It's really, really difficult to be even just half smart nowadays, because immediately, I used to be like, hey, my main thing is, I watch Fox, I watch CNN, I watch MSNBC, and at some point in time in each show, in each segment, my bullshit meter goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you just said something that's patently not true and verifiably untrue within seconds.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot more on one of those particular networks. And now it's endemic. It's actually a political ideology to say precisely the opposite of what you mean in order to create an intent to undermine your opposition. And I don't really think it's crazy to say. I don't know how much longer the United States can operate like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that since, and I'm going to shift it, since our good friend Io came on the podcast, I think now it's time to start talking about the United States in a different light, my friend. I am titling this very, very short segment, because we have to get to the Hey Aaron segment. Very, very short segment. I'm titling "The Tale of Two Halves." Let's talk Honduras, my friend. The last match that United States played was, if you turned it off after the first half, saying, well, here we go again. I understand. Aaron, what would, my take of this match was simple. Like I said, it was the tale of two halves. We kept turning the ball over at midfield, midfield, and just we were out of sync. I'm not convinced Pulisic was 100% when he was in. I just don't know. But I tell you what, when we came out in the second half and we made all of our super subs, okay, first of all, Pepe, we've got to have him start. I mean, we've got to have him start. I'm serious, man, because here's the thing. Like, those guys, they're young, and we've got so much youth, and they're playing well. They are playing well together. That second half, you brought in all of those subs. It was amazing, the different feel that it had in that game. What was your impression on that, man? I thought that, and by the way, I think on the podcast before then, I said, it'd be nice if we got like maybe a 3-1 or 4-1 win. I mean, I have to wind it back, but I believe I just pulled a Stephen A.
Well, I don't think anybody thought the outcome of that game was coming after 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that game really demonstrated how one-dimensional we are in our reliance on Christian Pulisic, because it became very easy to mark him out of the game.
Yeah.
He needs to be the best player on a team that can hurt you in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Right now, he's who's the stud for Crystal Palace?
Saka.
No, I can't think of his name. You're all going to watch me research real quick.
Oh, wow. Well, while you're doing that,
my point is, sorry.
Yeah. No,
my point is that when the other team knows what your game plan is, Wilfred Zaha. Thank you. Wilf Zaha.
Saka. Well, how was I thinking?
Zaha is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
But if you stop Wilf Zaha, you stop Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are games where Wilf Zaha is hurt and Crystal Palace look really, really good because the other team didn't prepare for the fact that, oh, by the way, they actually have other good players. we have got to figure out a way of playing that, whether Christian's on the field or not, doesn't matter. That the system, the pattern of play emerges, and he just finds his way in the game. He's obviously our best player, and he's a playmaker. So he doesn't have a defensive, role other than stop the first guy in front of you if there's a counterattack. He's not filling a position the way other guys do. You're able to sacrifice that. And we saw a great response in the second half of that match. Right now, we're about to see the test of whether Greg Berhalter can move to the next level. I think this is a big coaching thing, because we have talent. We've got talent all over the place. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of injuries, and we're going to have to be pretty pragmatic. We're going away to Jamaica tomorrow night and really need a win. We can't just say we're going for a result. We need a win.
Right.
And Jamaica's
notorious for sticking back.
The beneficial thing we've got right now is that they've had so many issues with COVID that they've really struggled to be able to get their team together for camp.
Oh, wow.
They got good results. I think they were getting a decent result against Mexico last time, and then ultimately Mexico came through. But they don't suck. But I think what needs to happen is the United States just needs to come out confident, move the ball quickly, get an early goal. Team's going to fold.
I agree.
It would be catastrophic for American soccer if we fail to qualify for a second World Cup.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't even want to think about that. Right now, we're okay. We're sitting third. And I think we'll be fine. I think if we keep our heads about us against Canada, against Mexico, I think we'll be fine.
Absolutely agree.
So with that, my friends, I'm excited because number one, it is the Hey Aaron time of our show, but also number two, it is October, my friend. It's October, bro. And that means Oktoberfest beer. That means, pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, and that means, candy and all that good shit.
Pumpkin.
All the good stuff. But tonight and for the rest of the month, we are going to have a Hey Aaron segment each time we are together that is Halloween based, my friend. You are going to be answering Halloween trivia questions to see how Halloweeny your mind can be, my friend.
I am a Halloweeny.
Oh, well, there you go. That's what she said, my friend. Anyway, now I don't know what to say there. It was awkward. But anyway, let me just go ahead and start on this question. You guys who are watching, also, please chime in with your answers, because this is going to be.
I think Io's apoplectic because he has not responded. He's got to be like, I hate you both for even bringing up U.S. soccer. So he's probably his wife is defibrillating him on the floor right now.
Exactly. I know. But yeah, these are, some of them are easy, but some of them are they're going to test you. So here we go, my friend. Number one, what sort of mask does Michael Myers wear in the original Halloween? What sort of mask does Michael Myers wear in the original Halloween?
Isn't he the one that wears the old school hockey goalie mask?
No.
Oh, it's a William Shatner mask.
Bam, there you go. Because the studio had such a small budget, they had to use the cheapest mask they could find.
Yep.
It was a $2 William Shatner mask that they spray painted white.
Yes.
That's crazy. I did not know that, dude. That's crazy.
I only get a half point for that. I needed the recovery of you saying no, because it immediately shifted my gear. But
okay.
You know what shifts my gears?
Grinds my gears. Here we go. Number two. How many pounds of candy corn are produced each year? How many pounds of candy corn are produced each year?
10,000.
Oh man, way short. a whopping
You're not the first
30
person who's told me that.
No, a whopping 35 million pounds of candy corn is made every year, amounting to about 9 billion pieces. My one and only question is, why?
I was gonna say, so apparently 8.5 billion people are going, the fuck is this? I actually don't mind candy corn, but here's how I enjoy candy corn.
Okay.
Candy corn is not great by itself.
Right.
But if you eat it with a peanut and some chocolate,
Yes.
all three things together,
Yes.
I believe
Yes.
that's how it's meant to be enjoyed. Also,
Yes.
who the fuck thought it looked like corn?
Next question, my friend. Why did people start dressing up in Halloween costumes? This is kind of
Ooh, this is obscure. If
historical.
drunk history can be trusted, it was one particular woman in a particular town who wanted to celebrate the night. It's technically you're celebrating the night before Halloween is what you're supposed to be doing. But
All Hallows Eve,
yes,
right?
Yes, because what the actual end is what day in evening of the night of the dead or some crazy night of the demons. I can't remember what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the next day is All Saints Day because Christianity had to be like, oh, we gotta clean that shit up.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You know?
Well, I thought it was one particular woman in the Northeast who kind of was doing autumn celebrations, and it kind of morphed. Like she would dress up, and she was kind of witchy. So basically, Stevie Nicks was throwing parties on her lawn.
Which I would be there. It would be awesome, dude.
The part that they've left out in all the tradition, I'm sure there was candy, but I mean, nobody blows cocaine up each other's asses on Halloween, as far as I know. That's not a tradition I know of. I'd be all for that.
Here's the answer. Many Europeans, including the Celtics.
You don't mean small Europeans, do you? Many
no.
Europeans. Oh, you mean lots? You mean lots of Europeans? Okay.
Dressed in costumes to repel spirits that they believed came back to Earth on what we now know as Halloween. So they dressed up to kind of.
So they're the original Scientologists.
Wow. If they could only see Tom Cruise now. Here we go. What Celtic tradition led to modern day trick or treating? Now, if you get this, dude, I will buy you drinks all night long the next time we go to the bar, because I know this, and only reason why I know this is because of my major in college, and I'm a geek. What Celtic tradition, Celtic or Celtic tradition, led to modern day trick-or-treating?
Were they big fans of leaving dog poop on people's front porches? Set it on fire, ring the door, and run away?
Well, no, because if you did that, Troy,
Trick-or-boo.
My gosh, he got it. Samhain. That's how you pronounce it. Samhain. The celebration of Samhain, people would put treats or food out to pacify evil spirits. And so that is where we get our modern day trick.
Oh, I have heard of Samhain. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, a lot of our traditions are based on pagan traditions that we've converted.
Yeah. Good old Samhain. I love it. Next, what ancient, now you will get this, I think, through deductive reasoning. What ancient Roman goddess is said to be honored on Halloween? Think about the traditions that we.
Is there a goddess of the harvest?
They are things that we harvest.
Organs
that we bob for.
There's a goddess of apples. Eve.
Pomona. Pomona. Pomona, pomona, like fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really geeky, dude. Really geeky. Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees. Many believe bobbing for apples on Halloween stem from Roman traditions to honor Pomona. There we go.
Bobbing for apples.
Bobbing for apples, my friend. All right. Oh man, you're gonna have a field day with this one. In what American state is it illegal to be a priest or nun for Halloween?
Is it illegal?
Illegal.
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 Massachusetts.
You would think. You would think, but no.
Okay. All right. So is the answer specific to it being Halloween?
No.
Oh. Then
It's
I'm
specific
just gonna say Indiana because we're backward as fuck.
Okay. That's a good guess. Alabama
Oh well,
doesn't take clergy costumes lightly.
they're backward as.
According
I
Yeah.
failed because
Yeah.
the only state more backward as fuck than Indiana
is
is
Alabama.
Alabama. Followed close.
According to
It's Indiana,
section-
Missouri, and Louisiana and Arkansas all kind of
And then-
occupy very similar space.
Okay, yeah. According to section 13A-14-4, whoever being in a public place fraudulently pretends by garb or outward array to be a minister of any religion or nun, priest, rabbi, or any other of the clergy is guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction shall be punished by a fine not exceeding $500 or confinement into county jail for not more than 1 year, or by both such fine and imprisonment, my friend.
I'm pretty sure any halfway decent lawyer would be able to plead that down. I mean, it's not a huge punishment. I mean, let's face it, they're not going to throw the book at you and make you stay in jail for a year and pay a $500 fine. It would cost more to incarcerate you for 2 or 3 days than your fine. So that's dumb.
That is dumb.
I think you would have to be like, you know, if you're doing some crazy shit, like you dressed up like a priest and you're having some weird faux exorcism on the church lawn with strippers.
Yeah. That's called Cirque du Soleil.
We've got stem cells and strippers. I know you hate us because I'm like, what would be the point? No, it just wouldn't be, it just wouldn't be much value to that whole thing. But yeah, Maine's a good, anything in the Northeast, Troy, is a good guess because
yeah. No, that was a good guess.
Amityville.
Yeah, there you go. 2 more questions. What was the first horror movie to be nominated for an Academy Award?
The Exorcist.
Yes, The Exorcist earned a whopping 10 Oscar nominations in 1974.
Phenomenal
which
film.
I believe. What's that?
It's a phenomenal film, and you do believe correctly. The year of my birth.
There you go. So,
coincidence?
Hail Satan. Hail Satan. Last question. This one mildly shocked me. What is the most popular Halloween candy in America?
I'm gonna say a mini Hershey's bar.
See, I was going like Snickers or something like that, but that's a great guess. No, Skittles.
That more than pleases me because I love Skittles. I assumed America had a chocolate thing, and that would be the case. Did you see? Did you see the article I posted about the most searched? They did a study of the most. They chose to call it the most popular Halloween candy in each state, but based on search results rather than purchasing. So I'm not sure how valuable that is.
Oh, wow.
Indiana was Reese's Pieces, which I'm not mad about. Reese's Pieces
I'm not mad about that.
That's
They're
decent.
great.
There were a handful of states that still went for circus peanuts, and Wyoming,
Texas.
Wyoming went with black licorice. Get fucked. Oh
my God.
But I I mean, categorically, I'm not mad. Like a little travel pack of Skittles I love Skittles.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. They're great.
I'm a fruit snack guy I love chocolate and peanut butter.
Yes.
But just chocolate or just peanut butter, I'd probably say I prefer the fruit snack. I'm a Starburst, Skittles, Smarties kind of guy. Which you want to get fucked up. So Smarties in America are a teeny tiny little thin rolled hard candy. It's basically pure sugar kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what Smarties in Canada are like original M&Ms. They're like hard coated chocolate pieces.
Whoa. Wow. I had no idea. Man. That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show.
Maybe the best comment ever on here. And by the way, folks, if you missed the beginning of the show where I'm trying to figure out how to get viewer comments to appear on screen so people can see it. And apparently I need some, if you have an intern, if your 3-year-old daughter knows more about the internet than I do, if you could have her help me out. I'm trying to get everybody's comments on screen. So I think that would cause more interaction. But IO said, sell Wyoming to Canada. We don't need them. Black licorice, get the fuck out of here. Okay. And I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
But I'm also drinking Jägermeister.
Oh.
So, take it with a grain of salt or black licorice.
For my last little shot here. But ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our show. Yes, since you showed Jägermeister, I'm going to show the Yamo.
Ooh, but you got the stout edition. That is baller. That is such good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. They've got the stout edition and the IPA edition, and I thought the stout edition was far superior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Far superior. So, very, very good.
We are at the end of our show. My second favorite part of this, because I get to hear my really good friend just totally lift us up and send us out either laughing or crying or both. What do you got for us this week, Aaron? Sending us out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. It's Aaron's moment.
Folks, it's been 3 weeks, and there were times where I was glad for the break, but the second it became time to do this again, I was super excited. I was super excited to be back with my buddy. I was super excited to interact with everybody else. And I just realized how important it is to keep these connections going. We're weathering the Delta variant. We're about to hit the fall and winter. I'm going to get a flu shot for the first time in probably 20 years. I had COVID recently. It wasn't a big deal. So now I've got some good antibodies on top of my vaccination, but I'm still going to wear my mask in public places because it's no skin off me to do it. It's important to help each other out. And I also noticed that I wore a mask all last year and social distance and never got sick. So
yeah,
I think we learned a lot of lessons. And all this tells me we're all so connected. We all have an obligation to one another. We all do have freedoms. I love freedoms. I love being able to make decisions for myself, but my humanity and my philosophy degree don't allow me to not consider everybody else. And some days I'm better about it. Some days I'm worse. We all are. But at the end of the day, you're part of something bigger, and it's upon all of us to try to make this better. And whether that's COVID, whether that's our politics, whether that's your kid's soccer team, we're all in this together, and we can't lose sight of that. Even when you're vehemently disagreeing with somebody, they're a person with needs and fallibilities and desires and wants just like you. And it's important to never lose sight of that fact. Treat people with respect. Keep it to the topic at hand if you're going to disagree. Don't make it personal. And remember, we're all stronger together. You do not defeat hate with more hate. It can only be defeated by love. And that is the entire point of us doing this is we laugh, we joke, we comment, we got some critiques, we make fun of people, we talk some shit about some people. But I don't wish Mitch McConnell dead. I wish him just better thoughts. So with that, folks, so glad to be back. We're going to keep doing this because it's a whole lot of fun and you guys keep showing up. So Evan, I love you. So happy to be back and to another 73 episodes.
Love you, buddy.
Black people vote.
Mm-hmm. Raise the debt ceiling.
Raise the debt ceiling.